All right, kiddo. You got a hold of it? Just be careful, okay? You ready?
Daddy, you're super high.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're up here a ways, huh?
I actually like your combine. That's really my favorite combine.
Oh, yeah?
I like red.
Yeah, we like red too.
You always like red.
Yeah, Papa likes red, Dad likes red.
Mom don't.
Well, I think Mom likes red. I don't know. Mom doesn't really have a preference, I don't think.
I think we don't like red.
Oh, no. Mom has to like red.
But red is my favorite. I like purple too.
Yeah, they don't make purple combines though, sweetie.
Yeah.
Not yet, anyways. Who knows?
Yeah. And you go different. And
Watch your head. All right. Let's get out to the field, sweetie. Well, good afternoon, folks. We're started on beans. We started yesterday. Didn't have the camera on me. Didn't go back to the house to grab it. We've been kind of pretty busy, to say the least. But I got my helper here today. We're up in the combine. We're going to try and get some acres knocked out. Try and get some wheat planted today. We've got about a week of rain coming, so trying to get at least a decent start on it before the rain gets here. Soybeans, when they get rain on, they get tough. This year they're kind of tough anyways. The plant stems aren't exactly dying. We've just had, I guess, a pretty decent growing season for them. They just don't want to shut down. But the actual seed from the soybean plant is ready to be harvested. It's about 13% moisture, so they're good and dry. Just got some green stems, so it's taking a lot of power to run through. So we're not going to be breaking any land speed records today running the combine, but at least we can get some acres done. So we're going to get after it here and try and get something done. Get some wheat in the ground, right? that first afternoon we ran, I was working over there by the career center, and I thought I smelled something burning, and looked up in here, and this spring, this bracket here was worn, so this arm pushed over, and the spring was rubbing on the back side of this pulley, which then in turn caught this pile of chaff here on fire. Thankfully, I smelled it, got out, seen that, and it was just smoldering at that point in time. It hadn't actually developed into an actual fire. So ran up to the parlor, grabbed a hose, hosed her down. Actually didn't see what caused it at that moment in time. Called Dad. He was coming back from up there at Centera with a wagon, just got done unloading. He and I looked it over. He's actually the one that spotted that. We're feeling around, couldn't find anything hot. And it's like, why did this happen? Well, that pulley turning around, hitting that spring, was shooting sparks right on that pile. Thankfully, the whole thing didn't go up in flames. There's actually 2 combines on fire already this week in our area. I think one of them actually was the neighbor who's a custom harvester, but he was out in New Pittsburgh area. So I don't know if it was his or not. Kind of heard subject that it might have been him. Haven't actually found out whose combine it was, but fire is no fun. Nobody likes fire, especially us. We've had our share of fire. I'm not looking to have any more. I don't wish that on anybody. Fire is just a mess. Just ruins stuff, costs you nothing but time and money, and I'm just not looking forward to ever having to deal with that again. So I hope we don't. But I'm gonna wait on Dad to grab the semi. He's actually coming down the driveway over there. You might be able to see the top of the trailer over the corn there. I'm gonna use the semi at least to finish this field here. Then we'll take them 2 wagons north. Kind of changed plans a little bit, what we were gonna do. This is making a little bit more beans than what we thought it was gonna. So that's a good thing. So he'll be here in a second. Now I'll unload this and get back at it. It's not your typical hopper bottom, you know, like a Wilson or a Tempty or anything like that. This is a Fruhoff ag conversion, so this is actually a dry van that you cut the top off of, cut the back out of, and set this steel hopper down inside of. So it's a little bit of a different system here. So there's a whole bunch of bars that go across it, obviously for structural integrity purposes, but then also for your tarp to ride on. So you can't exactly just roll up, flip your auger out and start dumping. You know, you gotta line up to where the grain coming out's not hitting those cross supports or else you just splatter grain everywhere and making a mess. And that doesn't make you any money to throw it all over the ground, so just gotta know how to dump in it. Sometimes it takes a little wiggling around to get lined up. This is a Case International 1644 combine. I don't know if this is exactly the smallest rotor they ever made or not, but I know this is a pretty small rotor in this machine. You only have a 5.9 12 valve Cummins engines in this thing. It's not like a 2388 or a bigger one like that that would have had the 8.3 liter, so you're a little limited on horsepower here. So you don't want to dare push this machine, especially when you got green stems in your soybeans. All you're going to end up doing is plugging the thing up, wadding it up, and making a heck of a mess. There's a bit of a trick you can do. If you've got greener stemmed plants still in the field, but the grain is dry and it's time to harvest, you can turn your rotor speed up a little bit, but that's going to draw more power, so you have to bear that in mind. So typically 3.5 mile an hour is flying on this machine for doing beans. Today we're running about 2.4, 2.5, just depends on the area of the field. If you're in a low-lying area where there's a lot more green stems, you back her on down a little bit, but if you get in a nice flat high spot, you can go back on up to 2.5. So you just got to know your machine. This machine, well, we've had it for quite a long time. My grandfather purchased this new, I think it was a 1990, no, it's a 94. I was born in 93, this is a 94. Anyways, so this machine isn't exactly new by any means. I mean, it's pretty low hour. It's 2,800 separator hours. Well, every single time this thing is running, it's separator hours. This thing doesn't really sit anywhere, and all of our stuff's at home, so you don't have to drive too far. But yeah, she's got 2,800 hours on her now. Been a good machine. Not quite the biggest machine there ever was, that's for sure. I'd like to get a bigger one someday, but again, that's not quite in the books right now. Maybe someday. I think that's what all farmers say. Maybe someday. Oh, we'll get there. It gets the job done. Maybe not quite as fast as I'd like to get done sometimes, but it gets her done. That's all that matters. We've had it since new, so we know every single thing this thing has ever been through. Every single nut and bolt ever turned. Just got done putting new sieves in this thing before wheat this year, so she's been kind of freshened up for the year. The rotor was redone, I think, I want to say 2010 or 2011. The rotor was redone, cage busted, had a heck of a wad go through in beans. I was not running the machine at that point in time, so I'm not at blame for that one. Oh, you know, nobody's necessarily at blame. This stuff happens. Things break. It's part of farming. Don't bother getting pissed off with somebody about it. It's not going to do you any good. Now, if you run it into something being a dummy, well, that's different. But just something you got to learn to deal with. There's carnage no matter what you do. Whether you're a truck driver, or a farmer, or metal fabricator, it doesn't matter what you do. You're going to break stuff. Things happen. There are design flaws and things too, so you have to understand that. We're human. We're by no means an excellent mastermind at building things. We make mistakes. Well, this field's a wrap. I'm gonna head off to the North Farm. I got a 5-acre field there next to the barn that I can probably get done tonight before it gets uberly late. That field also goes to wheat, so I'm gonna try and get that one knocked out before the day's out. Got about a week of rain moving in, so I think today is probably the last day of running for a little bit. We'll see what happens, but today's Friday, tomorrow's Saturday, and from there on out for at least 5 days. there's 90% chance of rain. So I think the dry weather is going to be gone for a little bit here. So we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, it'd be nice to get that other 5-acre field done, and maybe by some stretch of luck, it won't rain early tomorrow, and maybe we can get that one planted too. We'll see what happens. But I guess we'll see what comes of it. It's Ohio. You never know. It could be sunny, and 2 minutes later it could be pouring rain, and then 5 minutes from then it could be snowing. Who the hell knows in Ohio? It's something else. But all right, get this done. Move off the North Farm.